Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. We're diving back into one of my favorite rye distilleries of all time. But this time, for quite the mind-blowing release, it's Sagamore Rye Bourbon. And no, I didn't hit my head. Sagamore, known for their ryes, has finally released a bourbon. A high rye bourbon, as you knew it would be, right? They gotta incorporate the rye somehow. Okay, so pretty excited for this one. Let's go through the stats. $50 hairs is the MSRP. $49.99. $50 hairs. Nice price. Right here on the front, aged 6 years. Is that old? No. Is it young? No. It's right in the middle. It's a decent age. Proof, 118 proof. Compute 59% alcohol by volume. Doesn't say cask strength, but it probably damn near is. Right? So it's probably cask-ish strength, we're going to say. They say distilled 3 times, but all their rye is too. That's just something fancy they put in the label. But aged for 6 years, high rye bourbon. And then, are you ready for this, everybody? Because there's a couple important things here. 100% Maryland made. This is Sagamore's own distillate. Keep in mind, a lot of Sagamore ryes are MGP still, although if you were a smart individual and you watch my cask strength, new cask strength review of their rye, we have it right here, 123 proof, 7-year cask strength rye from Sagamore. Is all their own distillate made at Sagamore. No MGP in this one, and no MGP in this one. So this is not just another MGP 6-year bourbon. This is Sagamore's own distillate, aged 6 years, and a bourbon. And a bourbon. Who knew? Who knew? Okay, mash bill on this is 60% corn, 25% rye, and 15% malted rye. So it's 60% corn and 40% rye, essentially. Right? So it's a pretty high rye mash bill. Pretty cool. Just love that they did this. Now, is this going to be a nationwide release? No, it's not. If you're part of my Patreon group and you wanted one, do you have a bottle secured? You do. This is going to be distillery only and, probably Marylandish only, select stores in Maryland, but it's probably not going to go past that. It is kind of limited. I did talk with them, and they do intend to do this, like next year. It's like hopefully a 7-year. So it's something they're going to continue doing, but they only... This right now is about the oldest bourbon they have of this mash bill. So, they only got so many barrels they can release, right, to continue aging this for you and to keep making it better. So there you go. I think it's a fantastic price, fantastic proof. Sagamore never lets us down. We're going to taste it here in a second. Now, real ones. Although Sagamore's never released before a bourbon of their own, they have been contract distilling bourbon now for several years. And they did experiment. So there is 6-year Sagamore out there, in the NDP world because it was different mash bills. So they laid down a couple different mash bills, experimental mash bills with the bourbon. The Bourbon Junkies bought a lot, so for their Evernorth brand. So anything you see that says Maryland on it is generally Sagamore bourbon. If you didn't know that, something else like Pursuit United, I think has some bourbons out there that have Maryland in it. That is Sagamore mixed into those as well. But this is the first time Sagamore's ever released their own in their own bottle. And I think all the stuff they sold off before was different mash bills. So, it was like 54 corn or, 51 corn or whatever, right? So, but they settled on 60 and basically 40, 60, 25, 15, but 60-40 being their ideal mash bill. I don't think they've released that one to anybody else. All right, pretty awesome. Let's see how it is. Color. Fairly dark. I mean, it's fairly dark for a 6-year bourbon, 118 proof. Do I expect them to have nailed this? I absolutely do. On the nose. Oh, does that smell good? Oh, man. A lot of cherry here. A lot of like chocolate cherry. It's like chocolate malted cherries. Caramels here as well. Sagamore managed to keep this really cool that they managed to keep this on vogue with their tasting trends of their other stuff. You know, it's got the rye spice in there, you know, but it does smell a little bit different. I'm just digging this cherry note down the hatch. Oh, is that delicious. Oh, is that delicious. What a nice proof. Very viscous. What we said in the nose comes through in the palate here. I get a lot of like malted chocolate, cherries, caramel, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of rye spice. Man. Those that like caramel and cherry and like some rye spice, a little bit of chocolate in their bourbons are going to dig this. This is more of a fruit forward bourbon. No youth notes at all. Good job, Sagamore. Good job. Some of the big boys can't fucking do that. You know, like Heaven Hill grain to glass. Terrible compared to this. I don't have any more left or I do that review for you, but those things were $100 hairs a bottle and were 6 years old. Heaven Hill grain to glass was $100 hairs a bottle and 6 years old. What the hell is this? 6 years old, $50 fucking a bottle and 118 proof. Smokes the shit out of Heaven Hill grain to glass. I didn't even like Heaven Hill grain to glass. All had youth notes in it. This doesn't. Heaven Hill fucked it up. Sagamore did it right. Remember that. Remember that. Our first comparison tonight is going to be a bourbon that kind of, you know, took the young, good bourbon world by storm a little bit ago. It's Smoke Eye Hill Bourbon, 5 years old, 134.2 proof, courtesy of the man, the myth, the legend, Dave Vogelsang. Thank you, sir. Also, a big shout out to Mike Sutton for helping me get the Sagamore Bourbon. He went on by there, and it's about an hour and a half for me, and he went on by there and snagged that for me. So thank you, Mike. Should have thanked him first. Where's my gratitude? All right, Dave Vogelsang with the Smoke Hill Smoke Eye Hill. Gosh, I'm an idiot. Smoke Eye Hill. Look, this was very good. I liked it. These are like $80, $85 hairs a bottle, though. Okay, 5 years old. 134.2 proof. Smoke Eye Hill here. Sagamore here. The Sagamore is slightly darker. Okay, now it's a year older. I get that. Everyone loved the shit out of the Smoke Eye Hill, and I thought it was pretty good. Thought it was dang good. Was it a Stag Junior replacement? No. But it was in that vein. I did do a review of it. Go watch it above. Not this particular one here, but a different one. On the nose is Smoke Eye Hill. A little bit more corn forward. Caramel. I get some cherry here too. A little bit grainier, we'll say. Sagamore. Dude, holy shit. The Sagamore is so much more like medicinal cherry and chocolate. And no graininess at all. No graininess at all. Wow, the Sagamore smells a lot better, I gotta say. Smoke Eye Hill Bourbon, down the hatch. But Smoke Eye Hill is no joke. Gosh, Dave, that drink's smooth for 134. This one's very like cherry caramel heavy to me, the Smoke Eye Hill. But it feels thinner than the Sagamore on the mouthfeel. So, no shame for the Smoke Eye Hill. But if you, it's a good pour. Honestly, that's probably, see, that's the thing. That's worth buying at 80. Then the Sagamore is like a damn steal at 50. Alright, Sagamore, 6 year. Smells so much more fruity and cherrier than the Smoke Eye Hill. Down the hatch. Wow. It's so much more thicker on the mouth. Like, how do they do this at Sagamore? I like that a little bit better. Profiles aren't exactly the same. The cherry on the Sagamore is a little bit sweeter. It's a different cherry. The cherry on the Smoke Eye Hill is more reminiscent of like a Stag Junior cherry flavor profile, but you know, overall, the Sagamore's a little bit more complex, more mouthfeel, fruit notes more elevated. So I think, and it's only $50. It's a better buy. Better buy than a Smoke Hill or a Smoke Eye Hill. What can you say? Now you want to know Bourbon Bill, but how does it compare to their own 7-year rye for about $60 to $65 hairs? Clear. Sagamore's own 7-year cask strength, 123 proof, 1 year older, a little bit more proofy. It's more money. It's more money. And it's also a rye, right? But I thought I'd be dumb not to do this comparison for you. God damn. Man, just that fruity rye spice. There's almost like a little bit of oak here compared to this. Damn, I'm not kidding though. The bourbon is so much more cherry and like cherry chocolate. The bourbon is more fruity than this rye. More rye spice on their 7-year cask strength here. A richer caramel. There's a fruit. There's like a cherry note here too. It's about the same cherry. That's funny. Oh yeah, it's the same cherry note, but the rye spice like subdues the cherry in their cask strength a little bit, where it lets it fly in the bourbon. Okay, that's the difference there. And their rye spice is a little bit more mature at 7 years. Down the hatch. Oh Lord, that rye is good. I get the rye spice, the cherry, a little bit of orange. Good caramel note. The rye is phenomenal. All right, to the bourbon, 6-year bourbon. Oh, I don't expect. Oh man, these are closer than you want to believe. I'm gonna give the edge to the rye, only because I think it's a little bit more complex. But damn, is it close. Mouthfeel is pretty much identical. They both deliver and different versions of a similar cherry flavor, but different deliveries. The bourbon's sweeter. If you're a sweeter drinking guy, go for the bourbon. If you like rye, then obviously go for the rye. But wow, that was closer than I thought it would be. Again, the bourbon is just coming out to be a hell of a deal. Stalwart of many. Old Forester 1920. Yes, this is a 375. 115 proofs, a little bit less improved. These are about $60 to $65 hairs, maybe on sale sometimes. Old Forester, heat cycled warehouse. Age on this, guarantee it's below 6. Okay, color on the Old Forester, pretty nice, pretty nice. Not as dark as the Sagamore Bourbon. Are we about to have another shelf disaster for Old Forester? Old Forester 1920 on the nose? I mean, this smells good too. You know, it's got a lot of caramel, brown sugar. But there's a twinge of youth on this 1920 that is just not present on the Sagamore, you know? Sagamore's a little bit deeper, richer. Faint hint of like banana on this Old Forester 1920. Old Forester 1920, down the hatch. Old Forester 1920 is very good. It's got a little banana, caramel, brown sugar thing going on. Faintest hint of youth in there. You know, you can tell it's artificially aged. Sagamore 6-year bourbon. Guys, the Sagamore is better by a long shot. Wow, I did not, like, I thought this would be good, you know, and it's like, hey, it's $50. But it is just, it's swinging harder than I thought it would. A stalwart of many. 1792 foolproof. This happens to be a store pick. Good Barton goodness. At 125 proof. Look, these are about $55, $60 hairs, so you know, in the same vein of pricing as the Sagamore 6-year bourbon. On the nose is 1792 full proof. Oh man, a little bit of oak, caramel, banana, barrel char, smells fantastic. Down the hatch. Oh, that store pick's good. Oh, that's good. Heavy on the caramel. Banana, a little bit of oak, barrel char, that's fantastic. Sagamore 6-year. Just a richer cherry though. Richer cherry, down the hatch. Mouth feels better on the Sagamore 6-year, but they're kind of a draw for me. The Sagamore 6-year brings a better mouthfeel, like we said, and like a deeper level of cherry. But the 1792 foolproof here is just a touch more complex, even though it's a little bit thinner and it doesn't deliver as much cherry notes. So it's kind of like your mileage may vary. Again, this is a single barrel pick. If this was Shelfer v. Shelfer in a way, I think the Sagamore 6-year would win. But store pick here, it was a pretty good one. I'm going to say they're a draw kind of deal. Like, they're both very good. 1792 is a little bit more complex overall, which is why it's even, but the Sagamore's better mouthfeel and better cherry delivery. One of my favorite shelfers of all time, Jack Daniel's single barrel, barrel proof, the gold fucking label. There it is. Available in most shelves for $67 to $68 hairs. This particular one is a store pick from Costco in Delaware for $53 hairs. And no tax because they love the freedom in Delaware. So look, this is only $3 hairs more. This one happens to be 127.4 proof. Computes 63.7%. Alcohol by volume. Look. Jack Daniel's is delicious. Now, the age on these though, what we know today in 2025 is this. Most of the Jack Daniel's barrel proof ryes, store pick ryes, are 8 to 9 years old. Most of the store pick bourbons in 2025 are only 6 years old. Because some of the people doing picks have said, hey, these are 6 years old for the bourbon, 9 years for the ryes. And that's simply because Jack Daniel's has an outlet for their high-aged bourbon. You know, it's the 10, the 12, and the 14-year JD, right? That's where they put the high-aged bourbon that they have. The ryes, they really have no outlet for other than the barrel-proof rye store picks or shelfers, right? So look, this is a Costco store pick. Did Costco pick it? No, they didn't. You know, I mean, they just got a barrel. But this is going to be 4 to 6 years at the max. That's all I'm saying. And if you get a really good store pick, they're only 6 years old. So that's all we're saying about that right now. JD, Sagamore's a touch darker, just a little bit. Jack Daniel's barrel proof, bourbon on the nose. Man, caramel barrel char, like banana nut bread. God, that delicious banana scent down the hat. God damn, it's so good. So good. Banana nut bread, caramel, barrel char. Delicious. Delicious. Alright. Sagamore 6-year bourbon down the hatch. Man, this is tough because look. I probably prefer the banana nut bread profile of the Jack Daniel's. But if you prefer cherry, you're going to prefer the Sagamore 6-year bourbon over this Jack Daniel's barrel proof bourbon. The JD is a little bit more complex in its multitude of flavors, but the JD delivers, again, on what it has, it delivers a higher level of flavor. So that's pretty cool. So, and again, generally speaking, this is more money. So, gosh, like, the Sagamore here is such a value. Like, it's on par with 1792 Full Proof. It's on par with JD Barrel Proof single barrels. Like, guys, that's top tier shit for shelfers for $50 hairs, which is the cheapest of all of them. So you gotta do yourself a favor and pick one of these up if you can find one. You know, if you're in Maryland or you're part of my Patreon or you're near Baltimore and you're at the distillery, pick one of these up. Another home run by Sagamore. So if you like what we saw tonight, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Have a good evening, everybody.